Hey folks, I'm starting a new run through of this year instead of the amount that I was effing around with last year, because I didn't post like any of my VODs. So this will actually let me post the VODs properly. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Chandelar loves to crash on my computer, and I think part of that is because I'm on Windows 10 and I'm just running it natively instead of using an emulator or something. God, I need to like learn how to use Linux clearly, because then I'd have an excuse to be using Wine. We're just going to do sort of semi-hard difficulty. And we've got colors that we can pick. I'm trying to remember sort of how the balance was in this period. Obviously, blue, I think, is probably the generally considered to be one of the more powerful, just because blue spells are, you know, you can do stupid control shit, and Wizards still hadn't quite worked out exactly how to nerf them yet. White is kind of the big letdown color because, and yes, big jokes here about white being the weak color, and that'll make all of the player base mad because, well, WotC has been steadily kind of disposing of any of its goodwill and also their sense of like inclusivity in fits and starts, which is it's very ironic that I can still say this while they're still like actually having transgender characters in the lore and people of color and stuff like that. But also, I mean, you look over at Secret Lair, you look at the fucking 40k decks, you look at just the increased price gouging and how that is going to slowly price out. It's going to slowly price out and push out people who aren't rich white boys. So that one's very unfortunate. Green is the industry plant color, which is not just a joke about the fact that it's a tree. Green always kind of gets like the efficient creatures, and right now green is especially in that position in standard. Obviously these are cards from 1997, but I have sort of this grudge against green by virtue of the fact that they just keep getting more ridiculous stuff. So in standard right now, there is a sort of weird noise in the background of my ears. There's a 6/5 for 4 mana that has flash, so you can cast it at instant speed for 4 mana in green, and it's not even played because there's better stuff than that. Like, in this era, something that efficient would be very clearly deemed a mistake and insta-banned. But, oh, in 2025, apparently that's just kind of worth only a quarter. God, I fucking hate modern Magic. Anyway, red is Extreme Glass Cannon, and black is going to be the color I go with, I guess. Black does a little bit of everything, but sucks at all of it. So that obviously has to be the choice here. So this way it doesn't like me to write multiple capital letters in a row. This way I can have a slightly different file name to differentiate between the old stream file. Now let's see how bad our deck is to start with. Oh, baby, this is a mess. It's 3 colors, and we have no fixing because this is 1997, baby. We've got a... Oh, that thing probably needs to go pretty fast. Mistfolk, counter target spell that targets Mistfolk. I mean, arguably usable. Mercen enters with 3 net counters, doesn't untap, doesn't net counter, change creature's mana cost. Any player may activate this ability, but only if they... Any player may activate this ability, but only if they controlled the enchanted creature. That's some jank-ass wording. I admire that a little bit. Can that fucking volume thing get out of here? Okay. Ether Storm. Creature spells can't be cast. Pay 4 mana. Pay 4 life to destroy Ether Storm. I mean, that's just sort of like blue burn. I like that. But Thunderwall can come out because that is garbage. Meanwhile, we go look at our black cards here. Scavenging Ghoul. Yeah. It gets a counter every time a creature died that turn. And it can spend those counters to regenerate itself. An interesting thing that I learned is that ghoul is a word that has Arabic origins. Apparently, it very specifically referred to a female monster at first, which is interesting. Oh yeah, I saw some garbage legendaries over there. Skit zombies. That's kind of crap. Phyrexian gremlins. I don't think we're going to be using this very often, but it does exist for the very rare times that we might need it. Order of the Ebon Hand. This is a pretty alright card because we've got mana for it. In fact, even back in the day, this was pretty good, if I recall. Phyrexian gremlins can get out of here. Merc Dwellers. Yeah, they're garbage unless they're not blocked, in which case they're a 4/2 for 4, which is also kind of shit, but hey. That is not a Lemur, that is a Lemur. It's also very inefficient. Black doesn't really get good creatures in this era. Foul Familiar, can't block. Black, pay 1, return 8. I can use that. Drudge Skeletons, sure. The bones. The skeleton is still wearing the skeleton horse is still wearing a cloth over it. Wow, for some reason these skeletons are still clothed. Creatures don't really get good I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. We are talking about 1997, and for a creature to be playable in this period in modern Magic, like I was just ranting about the fucking rattlesnake worm from Outlaws of Thunder Junction and how it's like worth 25 cents or so. And it's so disgustingly efficient compared to this era that I just it makes me angry a little bit. But yeah, in this period, I mean, you might have had a couple of green creatures that were like playable. Savannah Lions existed in a period where cats were absolutely not a useful creature type. Artifact Possession. Whenever enchanted artifact becomes tapped or a player activates an ability of enchanted artifact without tapping its mana cost, or activation cost, I guess. Deals 2 damage to that artifact's controller. That is very situational, but we are literally at the start of a run, so okay. Wall of Earth, that's a pretty playable defensive. Man, I'm always surprised that red gets so many like weird high toughness creatures like this in among everything else. Goblins of the Flarg. They can't give me a good goblin, so they've got to give me a thing that dies if I control a dwarf. They hadn't invented Raging Goblin in 1997, so yeah. Chandler. I have 2 of this guy for some reason. This guy from Friends. I appreciate on some level how like any picture, how like the picture of this is just some dude. It's kind of funny. This is just someone that they hired to do things for their You think you fixed your raid alert? Neat, Irene. And around each channel. Of course, the streak messages don't show up on stream, so or not in the chat display thing. I'm kind of surprised that never got fixed by whoever is responsible for that, but that might have probably involved making effort. The Brute. This is another oddball enchantment. +1/+0 for 2 mana is kind of bad. And honestly, that regeneration effect is so tacked on. Red with regeneration is also kind of weird. This is a period where You did have a couple of red trolls, so you had a couple of red creatures with regeneration. But, I mean, that didn't last, and for a good reason. Immolation, this is a good card, kind of. It's a good way to beef up some of your creatures that are already pretty big, although, I mean, looks at my deck, I don't have any real options to play that on. Like, what, am I going to play that on Hyalopterus Lemure, so that way it can be a 5-1? Well, 6-1, but it would attack as a 5-1. Or it can be used as cheap removal. So, okay, if I was playing a deck that didn't suck in complete eggs, it would be alright. We got Gerard of the Closed Fist here, not to be confused with the other Gerard, who is spelt with a G. He does nothing! This is kind of what we were saying about creatures in this era were absolute shit, by the way. Princess Lucrezia. You're a 6-drop that taps for 1 mana. Okay. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, I guess it's blue mana at least, but meh. And lastly, over here, we've got Necropotence. A complete pain in the butt to play, and he's got a maintenance cost that sucks, but also he makes your opponent discard their hand when you hit him. But we are talking about an 8-drop, so I don't think they're going to have much hand to discard in most cases. Opsianus Golem, I'll keep that because I can play that with, like... Yeah, I actually literally cannot play Gerard of Closed Fist, I just noticed. On Bolas... Yeah, the old art, I love the old art for this. The Edward P. Beard Jr. one, I think it is. Unfortunately, they're really not showing me the artist credits, but maybe they weren't coded into this game. And this guy just looks just perpetually tired. But we do get a Black Vice to start with, and that is pretty good. Ashnod's Altar, which I would love if I was playing... If I was playing a deck of real cards, I'd be like just... If I cracked this as a starter package at a tournament or something, I'd be like, okay, this sucks. I might be able to play it, but I did pull Ashnod's Altar and Black Vice. So, like, I'd be coming away from the event with an Ashnod's Altar, and I'd be pretty happy about that. Unfortunately, we are in white territory, so the only card we can buy here that's usable by us is Clockwork Steed. Can't be blocked by artifact creatures, and that's about it. Oh god, yeah. I've built so many decks that have used Ashnod's Altar as just like a major workhorse for combos. Yeah, I guess I'll take Clockwork Steed. Technically, it's an efficient card for this period. It's still kind of butts, but, I mean, honestly, my choices are not incredible, so we will take what we can get, and apparently we gotta go fight one of these dudes. Well, losing artifact possession is not the worst thing in the world. I'll put up with it. I'll take the play, and this is not really what you would call a good hand, but I'll keep it anyway. As you can see, they updated a few rules here. For example, I'll just tap this to demonstrate that they've removed mana burn from this. And also, they're using a newer mulligan rule. I think this is just because they did, like, engine updates to make this work for multiplayer. And so they kind of have to have all the other stuff set up that way for single player too, for some reason. Oh, he's got his own Tim. Well, we have to get rid of that right away, so... Oh no, I don't get to attack with Tim this turn. I think I can live with the stigma. Let's deal with the ligma. Wait, I don't know where I'm going with this. Get that guy out of here. And yeah, all right, I'll play Ether Storm. I told you, it's just blue burn. Ooh, you've got an interesting card here. In the Eye of Chaos, whenever a player casts an instant spell, counter it unless that player pays X, where X is its mana value. As you can see, the wording is a little outdated, but whatever. That one's interesting because I actually think that mostly hurts blue decks. So, bro, you're playing that in mono blue. Have fun with your counter spells that you can't cast. Oh, that's something that sucks to see. Are you going to just burn down the Lemure? Yeah. I mean, okay. And we'll just take the game. There was really no need for me to play Black Vice in that case, but I mean, I'm sort of a bit of self-parody here. I see Black Vice, I've got to use it. You've got Sinkhole for 45 gold. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to take that. Are you nuts? I'd be the one who'd have to be nuts to not take Sinkhole. Baki's Curse is kind of crap, so we can sell that. Aladdin's Ring. Ooh. Aladdin's Ring genuinely is not a good card, but it might be... Looks like Bald's Curse. So Aladdin's Ring is kind of crap. It's monstrously inefficient. 8 mana, then 8 to activate for 4 damage. It is something that would probably sort of like be useful as a stalemate breaker if a game went long enough, but also I am going to keep it for a bit. Got this Arctic Foxes here. That's kind of cute looking. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or greater as long as defending player controls a snowland. Well, that is incredibly unreliable. So I think that's going to get sold. And yet, just want you to take a moment and sit here and bask in this. They printed this as a common at first. 2 mana for a destroy target land. Nowadays, they won't print 3 mana to destroy target land, which I'm gonna say something here that I think will make some people go, holy shit, you really don't play paper whatsoever, do you? And I don't. That back when I was the last time I played Limited, it was, oh god, so the event that I'm thinking of was either Oath of the Gatewatch or Battle for Zendikar. And the other guy had some like 4 mana spell that exiled target land. I was playing far too few lands, to be honest with you, but that sucked to play against. I'm going to not put that at the bottom of my library because I want my mana. And so I will say that, like, yeah, okay, for Limited, don't have land destruction. If they could print cards into Standard, just, like, dodging around any of the issues with Limited, I would absolutely be fine if they were to put in some of the, like, nastier land destruction. In particular, if they wanted to print in Reign of Tears into... just straight into Standard. Oh, damn it. I lost my Tim. Now I'm gonna lose the I'm going to lose the other card that I had to ante, probably, but... Now, unfortunately, I really cannot use Artifact Possession on that thing. Maybe Phyrexian Gremlins would have actually been useful here, but I don't like to think about that. What's this dude? Oh, right, because my Foul Familiar can't block. And unfortunately, I'm just in kind of a position of, like... I swing that into Death Speakers, and I bounce it, and I lose it. I got a terrible draw here, which, to be fair, we're not really looking at an instance of me having a good deck, so what else is new? But yeah, I don't entirely think existing in a period where land destruction exists in Standard is a bad idea. I just kind of think that getting it into the card pool is inherently going to create a few positions where it does just kind of suck. I don't like that I'm in this position, but I do need to win this duel in order to complete a quest. So I guess I'll put up with it. Oh yeah, and then there's this incredibly sick ramp spell that they gave. Well, first of all, they gave to anyone in the first place, but especially just feeding it over to the Enchantress deck. That's good. Primal Order. At the beginning of each... Equal the number of non-basic lands they control. Whatever. I'll play this and just sit and wait around and see how long it takes her to burn herself on this one. No, wait, why is... Oh, yeah, because of Fairy Noble. Never mind. Oh, well, I've got Obsianus in hand, and I can't use that yet. That's a pity. Oh, well. I'm not in a great position of having options right now. So... This might be it. Oh, yeah, there we go. She blew it up. Yes. Good. And now I can play... sure. I'll play the 5-4, because I need the slightly more aggressive play at this point, I think. No, I guess I used my, my thing way too soon, and in this case, thing specifically, me choking on words, I'm referring to Sinkhole. Alright, swing in, and we do nothing, but we killed both Verdure and Enchantresses. I mean, sure, you go ahead and do that, but I guess this would probably kill her sooner or later. And we lost. We lost our Tim. Well, like I said, terrible deck at this point because we just started out. So we're going to have to refine that probably. Or if we manage to actually slog through one of those battles and win. Oh, hey, City of Brass. I don't really want to use that too much right now because it's probably far more liable to kill me than it is to be useful. Just because our life total is so low. I don't need that. And I literally haven't drawn that Wall of Earth the entire time I've had it here. Goblin Chirurgeon. Sacrifice to regenerate target creature. Dwarven Lieutenant, or Lieutenant if you're in some parts of the world. It's not doing a whole lot for us. Axelrod Gunnarsson. Horribly overcosted. Even in this era of, like, terrible dog shit inefficient creatures, I can't justify that. Gunnarsson Axelrod, yeah. I legitimately don't understand, because it's a British English pronunciation for with regard to lieutenant. I don't understand it. Like, genuinely befuddling. Oh, and I'm drawing no creatures, by the way. And I know I have at least one in this deck, because we just put that saber-toothed tiger in there. Oh, well, there's... Oh, I had two Tims, apparently. Wow. Yeah, let's lock that one, I guess. Christ, this is a garbage board that we're looking at here. I have no out here. I'm just gonna lose another card because I had the worst draw you could ever possibly imagine. No, I think that's entirely fair, Roundy. And it's time for us to lose that Nicol Bolas, I suppose. But hey, at least we're on the play, and she mulled to 5. So, fat lot of good this Black Vice is about to do us. But it's not like I didn't try, you know? Alright, let's drop some skeletons here. Okay, so I guess this is probably usable. I don't think I'm winning a damage race here, not without, like, creatures or drawing the, literally, I think, one removal spell that's in this deck. I think this is just completely unfeasible. I may have to just straight up restart at this point, because this deck is... Yeah, I'm just going to restart. This deck is outright unplayable. This is... I figured I was going to have a rough go, but I didn't think it would be this rough, you know? Anyway. Load that properly. And we're dialing the difficulty down. We're going to try a different color this time. Add dice. We're choosing not black because black is actually worse than I thought it would be. That's 3. Well, I guess we're playing green. As much as I keep like dunking on how much I have frustrations with green. Defeat the Beastmaster, which has been menacing our village. That's a pretty high level boss that you want out of me at this point. So I think we're going to say no. Especially because I didn't actually go look at my deck yet. What do we got? Oh my god, this is much better. I guess the difficulty settings actually do kind of affect... So, I know in the original they tended to affect how many colors you start with. But it's always seemed like in the mods that hasn't really been so much of a matter here. We've got a smaller pile, and we've got a little more gold. And we have only 2 colors here. Granted, we also only have 15 lands, which seems a little bit small. However, we do start with an Orcish Lumberjack. I love the stupid machine this thing is operating. This orc is just in some sort of chicken walker with just a circular buzzsaw on the world's goofiest looking arm. This is so over-engineered and yet would not work. I kind of love it. Got a couple of goblins. Enslaved Scout, I think, is also a goblin, but the type line is covered. There's our Dwarven Lieutenant. We got Forests, All of Ice. Tarpan, wow, this thing is very mediocre by the standards of both life gain and creature. Tracker. Yeah, so it can fight all the tiny little garbage. I guess at least 2 mana cost on that as a repeatable effect. That's okay. Scaled Worm. Ooh, yeah. Remember what I was saying about creatures not being good. 8 mana for a 7/6. Oh, where's numbers 5 through 1? Not even in the flavor text. What a load of shit. Shenandoah Dryads. Well, we're starting in a forest area, so this might actually help us. Shambling Strider. One of the tiny amount of Yetis that exist out there as creatures. If you want to build Yeti Kindred, good luck. Well, at least Umaro is out there for you to have as a commander. Yeah, you could definitely get something like that for so much less. Especially with no abilities. Good lord. Savian Elves. Destroy target. Aura attached to a... That is so rarely going to be useful. Script Sprites. Those are the things that were annoying the hell out of me last game. Naf's Asp. And look, this... I was going to say, is that an uncommon? Deals damage to a player. They lose 1 life at the beginning of their draw step unless they pay 1 before then. Again, back in a time when they were afraid of giving green, like, Jungle Lion or something. Hell, nowadays you can probably get a flat 2/2 for 1 in green. Emerald Dragonfly. Remember when green got flyers? And they pretty much all sucked. Well, there you go. Deadly Insect. This has nice art, but 5 mana for a 6/1 with Shroud. Back then, that I think actually kind of felt playable back then. If you were careful with it. Argothian Treefolk. Yet another highly situational artifact-based card from the era of ye olde antiquities. Aurochs. We've only got 1 of these guys, but unfortunately... I mean, they'd be pretty good if we had a bunch of them, but 4 mana a pop, maybe not so much. Earthlore, enchant land you control. Isu the Abominable. I legitimately don't remember that guy, so yeah, that's why I didn't mention it. I think Yeti are a lot more Gruul colors, so you'd probably want something that gave you a little bit of red. All right, here, let's see what wind... Okay, it pops up on our left side here. Okay. I must have just forgotten about this one. Look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast Snowlands and play Snowlands and cast Snow Spells. Snow permanent you control enters. You may pay 1 of Bant if you do put a counter on Isu. That's pretty neat. I have kind of wanted to build a snow deck for a while. And at least for a period, I was like, oh yeah, Yorn would obviously be the commander. That might actually be the the winning commander there. It's kind of hard to tell because it's just like, do you want the sheer card advantage that Isu can give you by virtue of just like your hand is one longer at all times, or Yorn has better effects if I recall correctly. And he also comes with black, so it's like, okay, yeah, playing Sultai Commander, first of all, daring today, aren't we, meme, but also, yeah, having access to black is pretty fucking good in Commander. Meanwhile, white in Commander is kind of, it's not high tier. And as somebody who used to play Jor-Kadeen as a Commander once in a while, yeah, I can definitely tell you that, comparatively speaking, try as they might, white and red do tend to be comparatively poopy in Commander unless you're doing something very specific. Yeah, there you go. Like I was saying, black is pretty good. Tap and chain land, target blocking creature gets +1. Why can't you just write that as an ability that is granted to the land? Man, even the errata for old cards is fucky sometimes. Cyclone at the beginning, put a wind counter, then so basically it has cumulative upkeep green. Then if you pay the cumulative upkeep, you hurricane for that much. Yeah, I mean, listen, I enjoyed playing Jor-Kadeen back when I had Jor-Kadeen the Prevailer as one of my commanders. It was fun. But I definitely was a little bit, like, restricted in things I could do. And I need to emphasize for anybody who's like, oh, you were playing a red deck back then. You had Dockside Extortionist. I did not have Dockside Extortionist. I'm pretty sure I quit before Dockside Extortionist was printed. And also, like, again, it's like, hey, if that's your answer for that, like, man, Dockside Extortionist, more like good way to lose friends. I'm not trying very hard here. I'm supposed to be reading these cards. Grape Shot Catapult deals 1 damage to target creature with flying. So a hell of a lot less useful than you'd like, but I mean, it's pretty alright. Dockside Extortionist very much sits in that category of cards that absolutely should not have been printed. I get what they were going for, but man, you guys absolutely need more time testing, and I think that that's sort of been a recurring issue with Magic over the years, but especially lately. I mean, good lord, has anybody seen... Forget about just, have you seen Nadu? Have you... Look at the alchemy version of Nadu too, and it's like, you didn't test that either! Anyway. Yeah, no, that's super fair. I feel both is the thing. Anyway, we got Clockwork Swarm, which... can we get some, like, full art here? Let's uncheck expand text box. Yeah, I mean, look at these things. They're all various flying insects. And it doesn't have flying, man! It's sort of like Clockwork Steed, except it can't be blocked by walls instead of artifact creatures. So, unfortunately, this is a good creature for this period in terms of efficiency. Clay Statue. 3-1 for 4. I mean... I did very, very early on learn Magic in an era where this thing looked good as fuck, so I have a bit of a soft spot for something like Clay Statue, which actually looks good because when I started playing my very first Magic stuff, I had some of the Portal shit back in 1997. So when I was first introduced to any of the artifact creatures in real Magic, they just looked like they were normal efficiency because everything in Portal was so garbage. Anyway, yeah, it definitely hasn't aged well. Whalebone Glider. Target creature with power 3 or less gains flying until end of turn. Not dependent on the creature's power afterwards, but still... Man, these effects were not good back in this era either. And Lapis Lazuli Talisman, obviously it responds to blue spells by virtue of being a blue rock. When you do, you untap target permanent. For 3 mana to do that, the least you could do is draw me a card. Jeez. Well, let's pick up some stuff here. Let's pick up a Land Leeches. Let's pick up a Woolly Mammoths. Spore Cloud. Tap all blocking creatures, prevent all combat damage for a adultless turn. Each tagging. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of all right, actually. So we'll play that over the... Oh, sorry, I wanted to pull that thing out. I could probably keep the Whalebone Glider for a little bit, because we do have a lot of very, very mid creatures here. Hold on a sec. What creature type are you? You're a goblin. Well, I mean, we don't have any typal synergy in this deck, period, so that doesn't really matter too much, but I just wanted to know. It could have been something good for all I could tell. Now, we do want to be careful that we don't just go all in on weenies. So I'm not actually going to dump the Scaled Worm. Technically, it can help me end a game. Oh god, that would be a lot of cards. That would be a lot of cards. That seems like it'd be a bit of chaos, really, but I would be up for it. I want another MTG roguelike type of experience. Which is certainly what this is on some level. I'm not sure if anybody necessarily wants me to describe it that way, but here we are. I think that will be fun. It just would also be complete havoc, so... Ooh, Serrated Arrows. Actually, a very good card for this era of Magic, and honestly, still kind of good in general, really. Oh, right. Unfortunately, we have the Therese Nielsen artwork for some of these, so... Yeah. A Moncala roguelike. That's wild. Yeah, so there's... The art is sort of randomized. You can see that we get some of these that are using more like, obviously the Serrated Arrows. So I guess they just weren't pulled out of the pool. Oh, that's all creatures. Oh, I thought it was literally only flying creatures. RTFC streamer. Anyway, yeah, so I guess that they just are using like an art pool of every art for any of these cards. So yeah, unfortunately we do have some from the crazy QAnon lady. Then again, with when the basic thing that this is built on top of, because so what's that do? Is that target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Well, let's push the issue. Yeah, do it. Do it, nerd. So, yeah, I'm going to put forward a guess, and I am not to be considered an expert in this field. But basically, yeah, I think at that point it's just like, okay, you proxy your own Rhystic Study with your own choice of art on there a little bit. Because, yeah, Zimone isn't really a character, unfortunately. Hey, we get Lawnmower Elves next duel. Cool. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked there. I apologize. But at this point, getting sidetracked is kind of what 80% of what this stream's about. So these hacks are all built on top of a version of this game that they stopped editing these a while ago. Unfortunately, they stopped updating the card pool. So these are just using like I think at bare minimum, I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is before she went really crazy. And also after she stopped being a good artist. Fight me, everybody. Her art after a certain point is like really boring. Oh, wow. You can draw a circle on something. Cool. Seb McKinnon has more moves than you, and I don't want to see his artwork either, but I digress. Anywho, I'm taking 5 seconds here because I want to see if there's other arts of Ristic Study that don't suck. I guess there's the Merfolk one in Wilds. Well, both of the Wilds of Eldraine Enchanting Tales one, but oof is all I can say there price-wise. I am so glad that the idea of coming back to paper Magic has not really passed my mind. Because it's fucking... Seb McKinnon, a.k.a. thinks he's Hieronymus Bosch. Yeah, that's very much... That's not inaccurate. Also, unfortunately, Wizards did reprint something with his art again, which is like... He did kind of try to say, oh, well, I was in support of that caravan in Canada because of... And, like, dude, shut up. Whatever your fucking reason is, you knew what that was about. There aren't people who don't know what that was about who supported the fucking thing. So, you know. Like, again, I actually can kind of fuck a little bit with the sort of Bosch stylings, but obviously I was not going to throw any of his art into my art thread on Blue Sky from last year, which should be a good fourth. I don't think she knows Magic very well, unfortunately, but she has a background in card games, so maybe if we could get her interested, is a big... Which, I mean, again, that does kind of come down to the thing with Alan, too. I don't know how interested he is in it, although he would be... Alan would absolutely be a force of personality, and I know that bro knows some of the old cards, so, like... You know, he'd probably at least be able to get a foothold. So I would say that I'm kind of doing I'm doing the hand gesture here. I'm doing the scales a little bit. Not to be confused with the scales mechanic that you don't see in FF14 anymore. What the fuck am I talking about? There's literally one person in this entire thing that gag is for. The 6, I mean, yeah, it is the 6-7, isn't it? Anyway, I wanted to go grab the link to the MTG art thread that I did where it was like, here's my top 4 from all these sets. You can tell how tired I was getting at certain points because, I mean, in addition to the fact that I'm a huge cardboard grognard, i.e. a grognard about cardboard, not a grognard who is made of cardboard. But also just there's certain eras that, yeah. Wow, there's a lot of sets on. Yeah, Tev, the Cowboy set, Outlaws at Thunder Junction, was the 100th expansion to Magic the Gathering. Just as an FYI, I don't know if I ever told you that or not, but... You can tell me about werebears, yeah. Maybe Lethal. Lethal definitely seems like the kind of dude who would know shit like that. So, I guess, yeah, hey, if you want to... If you want to, like, try to help flag down people to get into that, because I'm bad at talking one-on-one to people that I'm friends with already. So I would need a little bit of assistance on getting that rolling, but I think maybe he would be a potentially good interest. So, Thunder Junction was all right. I like Thunder Junction, but also I do kind of like Wild West stuff a lot, or at least a decent amount. It's like, my dunk that I will make for Thunder Junction is, you guys really wanted to go back to New Capenna and couldn't figure out how to make it work, didn't you? But also that kind of applies to Markov Manor. Jesus Christ. Can you tell I watched Solarian Community College? Is Karlov Manor, sorry, not Markov Manor. There was a relative paucity of vampires in that set, and I don't know, maybe vampires would have improved it, but truth be told, I think almost anything could have improved Murders at Karlov Manor, with maybe the sole exception of going back to like ancient MTG wording on some of these things, or bringing back certain very bad Ravnica mechanics. Like, if they had decided we're going to do Radiance again, I would have just been like, go fucking bankrupt. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, see, Tav, the good thing about that is that vampires need to be invited to come into your house. It doesn't go the other way around, so you could sneak in just fine. Anyway, yeah. Basically, if you take about 50% of the mechanics from OTJ and about 50% of the mechanics from Karlov Manor, you get a set of mechanics that are so ready to be a New Capenna-oriented set, because so many of them are focused around, like, crime and punishment themes, right? And law enforcement. The downside is that you would kind of lose out on a big part of New Capenna's identity for a lot of people, which is the fact that the 5 crime families are all... The term that used to be used was arcs, but shards. That they're all shard colors. And how would you break that down? Because obviously, all 5 crime families want to do things that care about outlaws, for example. So you can't really have that sitting as like, oh, well, only the Riveteers are outlaws. The fuck? That almost seems racist in a way, but I digress. Anyway, that would mostly be a problem with flavor, but I digress even further. But I do kind of like Outlaws at Thunder Junction. Even though, if you want a more serious complaint, I guess it would probably be like, people had been clamoring for the idea of a Wild West set for a very long time, and it kind of got at least half papered over with the fact that it's about Magic's Rogues Gallery. There we go. That's the term I was looking for. That it's a set where it's basically like, hey, look at all of these cool villains from Magic's past. And I love the idea of the lore celebrating itself. I don't know that the quality is always there, but it is like, couldn't you at least have done one set of this place first, where we got to just have a setting that is basically just kind of Wild West a little bit first? It's Magic Australia. I mean, Australia does have a fair amount of desert, if I recall correctly, and Thunder Junction had a desert sub-theme, to be fair. They also got some crazy looking big animals, which would absolutely fit in Australia. No kangaroos, though, which is wild, because that was also the set that introduced the Mountain Saddle abilities. And you just know that if they were to do just like an Australian Outback set, somebody would look at those two things and go, we have got to make a card that lets you ride in a kangaroo pouch. Somebody would really want to do that. Anyway, I've been ignoring the thing in front of my screen for like, I'm not even playing blue. What the hell? I got distracted. This is why I'm a bad streamer. How much does this cost? $255. Bro, give me a discount. He's missing an eye. Come on! I'm yelling too much. My throat hurts. I may need to get up and go get some water. My water bottle is empty. Jesus. I am... Okay, I deserve the roast. Anyway, folks, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go and fill my water bottle before I die from saying stupid things. Yeah, sorry, I did the lazy version. I apologize. I'm just laughing about ableism strikes again. Listen, do you have any idea how much depth perception is involved in goblin kinging? Absolutely none. So, look... Oh, actually, maybe that kind of undercuts my argument a little bit. Just a sec. I'm going to pull the chair in all the way. Hang on. Yes, but how much did he use his depth perception is my question. Anyway, folks, we're back. My mom absolutely loves Labyrinth, by the way. I mean, who's surprised? I feel like going like, oh yeah, my mom loves David Bowie. No kidding. Like, unless your mom is like 30 or something. In which case, you're probably a little young to be watching this stream. Not that I'm going to say get out, but like, I say a lot of naughty words on here. So, okay, maybe you're right. This whole bit is getting like dumb even by my standards, which are not particularly standard. Oh, this hand's a keeper. Look at all them trees! And I can't play this goblin, orcish lumberjack, pardon me. There's a goblin lumberjack too, I'm pretty sure. I just do not recall where it exists. I... Wow, alright. I'm not gonna say you're trying too hard, but maybe you're not trying hard enough. Anyway. So it's probably no surprise, basically, that my mom, who's like in her 60s, loves Labyrinth and most things David Bowie. Because, yeah, I think that's kind of true of most people in that age demographic, period. Right? David Bowie's pretty cool. Generally speaking. Nah, I'll just take 5. Are you kidding me, dude? This game is over, and I didn't even get to play a thing to saw up any of them logs. Another Shambling Strider would actually be nice, because that's another curve topper for us. Instill Energy is probably the real prize here, but I'll take my extra Yeti. My abominable snowman! Wait. He doesn't actually care about snow cards, so he probably shouldn't be called an abominable snowman as such. You're bringing in phallic objects as a distraction. I mean, did it work? The answer, of course, is no, but I digress. And we'll gladly take the trade that we just got there, because... Okay, sure, we didn't get to, Oh, I didn't even see you played... I'm actually quite annoyed right now because the problem here is that that's using the modern art for Pendelhaven, so it blends in. I think that probably the old art for Pendelhaven would blend in quite a bit too, but... Oh, Christ. I went to go and look it up, and I got to see a note from my inbox from Valve for an item that I just sold on the Steam marketplace. The purchase price for this item is unusual. Funds received from this sale will be held temporarily. Why am I being punished for this? I'm not the one who's engaging in a scam if this is the case. It's clearly the other person. Unfortunately, Valve doesn't want to do actual work. It was 1 cent. It actually was not this time, believe it or not. Anyway, so let me pull up the old Pendelhaven here. And I will drop a link to that in the chat. So you can see this old art from Brian Wackwitz. I've seen that artist name all of once. Anyway, so that would blend in with a lot of older lands, but not necessarily so much. Like, the old style with just a single tree would not really, would actually look quite unusual. But the newer style, this just looks like just another forest. So it produced a, I don't want to call it an optical illusion, but I do want to call it rude. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact spell, so I can't play Clay Statue. Otherwise, I just kind of lose it. Well, I think it's Cyclone time. Alright, and bro uses Pendelhaven. Get cooked! Sure. We'll roast the entire field again. It's not a smart idea, But technically I can force a draw next turn. Okay, good. He didn't play anything, so I don't have to do anything that fucking stupid. Thank goodness I can play this deadly insect. Which just kind of looks like a that's a really messed up looking praying mantis, I'll tell you that for some reason. That ain't quite what a praying mantis looks like, usually. And I'll play this big ice cube to protect me from whatever creatures he doesn't play. And because he's got Wooden Sphere up there, so he can gain some life off of my garbage spells. Yo, he's got nothing. Let's go for it. And give me those. Singing Tree I don't think is a very good card. I actually forgot what it said it does. Carapace. Could be worse. It is a thing that can protect a creature a little bit. Plus, Carapace is just a fun and lesser spotted word. Target attacking creature's base power is 0 until end of turn. That's okay, but it is a 4-drop and a creature, so I don't know if that's really worth playing. Elaborate's Carpet. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by attacking creatures without flying. That's a lot to sink into it, but that is technically a useful ability, but I just think I'm going to pass, because that price seems a little bit much. Nevermore Hold. He'll give me a mana link. So for those of you who have never seen this game before, the term mana link means that we get free permanent max HP, or starting HP anyway. Because there's no real maximum life total outside of possibly a card that has a rule that causes that effect. But I've certainly never seen one, and not in this era. What do we got? Heaven's Gate. Ah, wonderful. We've got a cult. And all they do is turn any number of target creatures into white people. That's a card that exists for some reason. What an incredibly weird effect. So, okay, we got this Merfolk Shaman to... I got a question. Do you think that if we try to give a merman a swirly, it will do anything? Wow, listen to you. I forgot what I was saying other than Fishman swirly. Tangle his hair. Anyway, look at this piece of art. Painted by Dennis DeTwiller. I got blocked by Dennis DeTwiller on Twitter years ago because I was talking some shit about wizards. And, like, he was saying something like, oh, well, these people are... so, Dennis DeTwiller hasn't done art for this game in actual years. But Wizards of the Coast kind of sucks as a company, for those of you who are not necessarily certain of that. And he started posting some stuff, and I replied to it by saying, no, dude, you're wrong, basically. In more words than that. And apparently that was enough to make him block me. So, like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'm going to give it a slight pass because this was 1997. And by slight, I mean extremely slight pass here. We're not going to... There's no full absolution here because you're absolutely correct. The programmers should 110% have actually put the art credits on here. He turned my mountain into a forest. Okay. That's weird. Well, whatever. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to necessarily say that I begrudge him for it, aside from the part where I do. But I gotta say that there is a certain level to which I forgot where I was going with this bit, other than that dude does kind of suck for that, but for other reasons. Anyway, let's play some Woolly Mammoths and continue to not have a whole lot we can do here. I can fight one more Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, and then pass turn. With regard to art credit and related matters there, I would like to say that, yeah, there is definitely a problem in that regard. And when they released the 30th anniversary edition set, I know that Jesper Mirfors, who is a former Magic artist, former Magic art director, and excuse me, what are you doing, dude? And quite frankly, absolute legend of a human being. He commented on it, and he's like, he noted that the copyright information wasn't there. I don't know if it was just because they decided to write it differently or something, but he was completely correct to point that out, and he was absolutely correct to say that shit was fucked up, because it kind of was. And big shame on you, WotC, for not necessarily giving people over full control of their stuff. That's not great. Oh, where did that other... Did you just tap a forest for no good Maybe I wasted it. Oh, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, so there's definitely at least some extent to which I can quite safely say that WotC can eat my shorts. Oh yeah, I gotta sack a thing for... Why did you play it that way, dude? Whatever, I guess we're giving the creature who can't do anything this turn Mountain Walk. Okay. Yeah, the Aurochs at least have trample, so we can have the old Blitzball team here go in and deal 1 damage to this dude. And I can not have enough mana to do that. Well, we can still swing in with all of our X2 plus creatures and take the win anyway. I don't know what I was worried about. Ooh, this is a pretty nice set of lands here, but I can't really use them so well in this set of cards. But we'll take the stuff we get here, and Nevermore Hold is off to the east. So yeah, basically, I guess the end result of what I'm saying is that Wizards of the Coast as a company really upsets me. But I do still kind of have a certain affection for Magic. If I was going to pick up paper Magic again, I would really want to have... Oh, ew. That's a piece of artwork we didn't want to see. We're going to burn that as soon as we get to town. I just would really wish that I would have access to a better player base, that I'd be a little bit more confirmed that they would, you know, not be chuds. And quite frankly, that doesn't feel like that should be something that should be hard to get in this day and age, you know? Yeah, I think you all understand. Anyway, bro's got a Knights of Stromgald out here. That is... Oh, and he's got another one, except it's called Order of the Ebon Hand, so... Either the chuddiest of chuds or actual children. I mean, honestly, kind of that is my experience a little bit too, tragically. Do I actually have enough? Yes, I do have enough mana to play Shambling Strider. Right, I just have to sack my forest. And we're good. Oh, I do like Soldevi Adonate. But so that's because Soldevi Adonate is basically Priest of Yawgmoth, but better. On the other hand, I do actually have 2 Priests of Yawgmoth, and they have the Phyrexian creature type, so I would disagree with that sentiment of it being better, but I'm kind of a sicko. But yeah, I definitely was around a bunch of dudes back when I played Magic that I don't want to say that they were all like the biggest chuds you've ever seen, but there were definitely some chuds involved there, unfortunately. I can say that with a truly depressing amount of confidence. You know what? Sure, just I'll go 3 for 1. I mean, okay, I'm losing my Yeti, but I'll still pay the piper on that one. That's a perfectly fair price. And I guess I'll cast Land Leeches also. Sure. I'm okay with, you know, setting all these forests on fire. And he played Graders. I can block that all day, every day. I can't Spore Cloud it, sadly, but I can block it with no issue whatsoever. Basically, I would be not very comfortable around the guys that I played with as someone who is out and queer, because I don't really have the confidence that they would not be complete shitheels about it. And most of them were like perfectly nice, except for the one dude who came in all the time and really made a bit of a rumble about how much he wanted to be a pro player. And he had a bootleg playmat that had this art that was drawn by Steve Argyle. Steve Argyle, my true enemy when it comes to MTG art, of Liliana and Chandra kissing, and it had a Magic logo that was placed over it. And he was like really very impressed with himself over this particular bootleg. Because like, yeah, okay, sure, the company is not going to do this. I'm not going to go look up the artwork, so, you know, fuck off. It's a waste of my time. But, you know, obviously, I don't have a problem with queer representation in Magic. I do have a problem with you being a fucking gooner. And that's kind of where a lot of that stuff tends to land more than any of that. Oh god, his creatures are getting fat as hell. I am going to have to figure out a way to get through here other than just like... Oh, actually, I think I can just push. Because he's got nothing. So if I just throw all of my dudes in here, he blocks 2 2/2s at best, and he still takes 4. These cards aren't great, although we do have Old Man Winter's Frosty Ball here, his left testicle. But we are going to take the Dungeon Clue, because I don't know where or when I can find Winter Orb. Life losses carried over. Bad Moon permanently in effect. No instants or interrupts allowed. Ugh. Oh, baby. That is a shit dungeon. Maybe if I manage to show up enough black cards for it. Grab your left or make your right. Wow. What a phrase. Glacial Chasm. This is a card, all right. Cumulative upkeep, pay 2 life. When Glacial Chasm enters the battlefield, sack a land. Creatures you control can't attack. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. So this is used in extremely specific decks to basically keep yourself safe for a very short period of time. Because obviously you can't have it for too long because, okay, next turn you're paying 2 life. The turn after you pay 4, then 6. You know, the pile venom kills you real fast if you're not able to use this to just save your bacon. But it does have some utility. Or I guess if you're playing Eon Hub, you can use this and just be like, ha ha. Let me paint an even bigger target on my Eon Hub. But I mean, at that point, if you're playing Eon Hub, just play Stasis, dude. Actually, at that point, if you're playing Eon Hub Stasis, just play Winter Orb deck. Lose your friends even faster. Yeah, let's pad out the sides of our deck some, and I guess take out a couple of these cards that we've never really used. Cyclone is actually turning into an MVP. Earthlord, get the fuck out of here. Oh yeah, I wanted to burn that. Right. Don't look at the VOD. So, yeah, basically what I'm saying is the dude was kind of strange on some level. And again, it feels like something that's very hard for me on some level to explain because I have to put a lot of like I have to put a lot of butts in here. The kind with only one T. Don't get excited, kids. We're not talking about anything interesting. We're not having fun on this channel. Don't worry. Oh wow, he just dropped 2 of those. Okay. Well, sure, let's just go to combat and get the 2 damage that we are owed, I suppose. Play this and swing in and pass. Okay, so huge gamble here because I am basically like just about to lose my War Mammoth. Right? This thing is going to die. Or I'm going to lose. That's also the option, but I was kind of in a bit of a Morton's Fork situation where it's like, okay, I can either die or I can basically be about to die. Cold Snap. Cumulative upkeep. At the beginning of each player's upkeep deals damage to that player equal to the number of snowlands they control. Very situational, and also we don't play white. Moorish Cavalry. Hey, it's a slightly worse War Elephant, but in white. Back when white got trample for some reason. I don't think it does anymore, but I feel maybe they should bring that back. Up north to Anders Hall, and he will give us a white amulet. Well, I mean, it's money, isn't it? Well, sell the Earth Lore. That's not useful. And by money, I mean it's a type of currency. It's not literal money. Unless we're able to trade for cards there. In which case, it can become money. Poorly. Ooh, a desert. Yes. Yes, please. That is extremely cheap, repeatable removal. You better believe I want that. Rewarded with a fine white amulet. I think I can only afford a pretty decent white amulet, to be honest with you, but hey. So, I can't buy this, can I? Yeah, it costs 3 because it's rare. Timberline Ridge, I believe, is also a rare. So, yeah, even though this thing is garbage, by the way, these depletion lands, these things are shit. It's hard to believe that they made a version of this in the Tempest block, which does something similar, but it has a just tap to add colorless and doesn't use counters. those set of lands are also completely unplayable, but they're much better, especially in the modern day, due to the fact that they cannot be slowed down even further with proliferation. But I digress. Do we have any lands we can actually pick up here? We can get more deserts. I think those are commons, right? Yes, I could pick up 2 of those, but I want to scrounge real quick and make sure that would be my best bet. Glacial Chasm can go to hell because I'm not going to use that. Halls of Mist is a bit weird. Island of Whack Whack. Whack Whack Whack. The Island of the Ducks. Unfortunately, that's not going to be of much use to me. Can't buy that. I could buy Maze of Ith. I do always like Maze of Ith, but I think I'd probably rather have deserts at this point. Mishra's Factory. Ooh, I do also love me a Mishra's Factory. Oasis, I don't like that very much. Safe Haven. Are you rare? You're rare. Yeah. Safe Haven is a bit of a weird one, so you can use that to just store your creatures for a bit. Very slowly, and it doesn't produce mana of its own. Do we not have City of Shadows in here? That one was in the dark, I think. If Sheltered Valley would enter... Instead, sacrifice each other permanent named Sheltered Valley you control, then put Sheltered Valley onto the battlefield. Which is a very crusty way of writing it, but they want to basically make it so you can only have 1 Sheltered Valley in play. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or fewer lands, you gain 1 life. Add a colorless. It's a pretty bad card. Sulphurous Springs. Tabernacle. Oh, boy. Oh, if I was going to play a land that didn't generate mana, it would be Tabernacle, because this card is... This card is really mean. All creatures have, at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy this creature unless you pay 1. Yeah, so against certain decks that like to flood the field, this hinders them so much. It's a real good card. I love Tabernacle, but unfortunately, first of all, I can't get it because it's a rare, and second of all, I don't think I'm at a point in the game where I have enough of a deck otherwise to support playing Tabernacle. $3,000 card, yeah. Oh boy, the price of cardboard is like, man. I guess what I would also want if I was looking for an IRL playgroup would absolutely be like proxy friendliness. Man, I just want to play a Hazazon Tamar deck without like selling a kidney or something. Anyway, we got another Pain land there, and we've got the Urza lands, which... Urzatron isn't really worth it unless you can get all the lands. So, what I'm going to say is, fuck it, I'm spending both of my green amulets to buy deserts. And give me a quest. Defeat a druid. Well, okay, that's not really hard to do. I literally have not drawn Dwarven Lieutenant the entire game. So... we are dumping all of the red cards from our deck here. And going mono green. Putting that in. Do I have enough things for Aegis of the Meek? I think I've got a couple of things for Aegis of the Meek. Yeah, I mean... I've got... 1, 2, 3, 4 1/1s. Actually, that's not that many. Never mind. Yeah, I'll put another one in here. We talked about... I have now completely missed out on what you're saying because I'm dumb. Anyway. Yeah, so let's go and find a druid and kick him in the... Oh, he's got another desert for us. All right, let's kick this guy in the mush real quick. and get his desert, hopefully. Oh, pit trap to start with. Oh. Oh, yeah, the lieutenant, yes. Thank you. We just haven't drawn it the entire game, which just kind of shocks me at that point, because... Yeah, okay, it's there, but... What do you mean I'm not pulling this out of the deck somehow? Oh yeah, I probably should swap Shambling Strider for something else at some point, shouldn't I? Well, we'll deal with that later. He's playing Sitneal Druid, he's playing a other kind of Druid. And I'm going to just throw that thing in the trash. And I'll play my own Shannon Dryads in response. And drop a Wall of Ice. Oh, you jerk. I see what you're about, buddy. And I don't like you. Well. Spore Cloud, because otherwise I'm not really going to have a good chance to, like, catch him before he does something like activate Pendelhaven. Well, I guess I got to spend it now, because otherwise it just the same thing is going to activate only during the end of combat. Okay, I was like, wait a second, that is showing up graphically early, so... That was very odd. Anyway, I'm going to throw this big bug at him, and it's going to eat him, and we're going to get Nicol Bolas for some reason. You get +3 life in the next duel. Wow, that's technically helpful. So we're going back to red. We're going to pick up this Taiga, because we do actually kind of like the red stuff a little bit. I mean, I certainly don't hate it, but also what the... This Dwarven Lieutenant does not exist, like, at all. Let's be honest with ourselves here. That's a fake card. Now, the game is going to allow me to have all 4 of those deserts, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's sort of a restriction in this game before a certain point where you're not allowed. Which is really, really a load of pants, but... Video games. Oh, yeah, see? Well, it does show that, right? I have only 3 in the deck, but... Basically, in Chandalar, you kind of have to... You start as not being very strong on some level. So things that aren't basic lands, you're not allowed 4 of... You're not... Yeah. You're only allowed a max of 3 until you get a certain item. Good old roguelikes. Back in an era where roguelike meant that you had to build your way up to being base level competent. As a pauper, if you... Our deck has a lot of uncommons for that, dude. We wouldn't be allowed to play that in pauper, that's for fucking sure. But I appreciate what you're saying. I am, however, just... acting thick on purpose. Not like that, you... I swear one of these days I will actually finish VTuber design things. I should annoy my friend with that over the weekend, in between when we're going to be watching GoldenEye. Oh, hey, look, it's the Cyclopean Tomb. Altar of the Cyclops. Yeah, this is the only dungeon that we have access for. 100% all commons run. It's probably actually more viable than you think. Remember that we are talking about an era where we've got... Like, we can at least accelerate with green, so that way our horribly inefficient garbage creatures are a little bit better. And also, Sinkhole exists. So, we can be a problem. Most, maybe 30% choking at most. Nice. Okay, the fights here are going to be a little bit gross. I'll keep this hand even though it's a 7 lander. You might be saying, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, it can only go up from here. And yeah, she's playing Drudge Boners, but we can at least make those things just kind of disappear. Okay, so where do I put the end of combat marker? Run to this Fuck! How do I use these? Do I, like, just click them at the start of combat to be like, hey, yeah, it happens at the end? Question mark? Good old jank programming. Damage attacking creature. Okay, yeah, so that is how we do it. Okay. Yeah, and enjoy spending your mana for that, which is greatly unhelpful for me. Oh god, what do you do? Ew. Clay statue, Kelderin dead. And you sack it. Oh yeah, I forgot that... I forgot that this person has a real deck, I think. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna... I mean, I can hang on with 1 life, and then I have nothing else I can really do here, but I can force that to the graveyard, because she can't pay for that. Yeah, no, I think I'm, like, super boned here, speaking of... Not even just looking at the things that are attacking me. And Rip Clockwork Swarm. That was deeply unfortunate. That's what I get for pushing my luck. Ah, this guy. A Mind Stealer. I don't want to give up my Wild Growth, potentially. That's a good card. I like that one. Casting of Bones. What does this do? Enchanted creature dies, draw 3 cards, discard 1 of them. Oh, okay. I thought that was Skeletal Scrying for a second. Which is a different card that is a lot better. Get this guy away from me. Okay, fine. This Crusader. These guys, I think, are usually the dudes who, like, flood the field with junk creatures. So, play our Taiga and drop in Orcish Lumberjacks. Our lumbering jacks here. Nature's Lore, drop a forest, and just pass turn. Dude, I'm not gonna block that. Are you kidding me? Maybe he is. It's just Banalish Warrior, but different. And I'll choose a color, I guess, and play Pit Trap. And pass turn. Yeah, alright, come on, dude. Swing into my deserts and have the game hang slightly. And he's playing his Order of Lightbearer here. sorry, it's Order of the White Shield. That's the version from Ice Age. Oh, you tapped my desert for that? Dang it. Well, I guess we're only killing one creature next turn. And I'll just pit trap that thing. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here! And promptly clobber that random dude. Yeah, fat lot of good that banding is doing you now. Banding, an ability that I'm actually not going to dunk on too badly, because even though banding is kind of infamously a complete nightmare, it's actually kind of useful in certain circumstances. Very specifically when you're on defense. Banding is a very good defensive tool. It's just that otherwise it's kind of... like, on offense, I don't think banding is a very good idea, usually. Yeah, again, considering that we're talking about an era where the idea of a card game with this level of defined rules and stuff was, you know, barely a twinkle in the madman's eye. The fact that they went that deep, you know, they were just like, okay, we're going to go this hard. I admire that. Oh, damn it. I can't do anything about that. I can't make this thing smaller. That'd be stupid. In like 99% of circumstances. And we just found the 1%. Thanks, Magic the Gathering, parentheses 1997 by Microprose Incorporated. Damn, that's Sid Meier. He's a fucking genius, isn't he? He made me find the exact one circumstance when I wish I could reduce my creature's power. Oh man, that whalebone glider would actually be really good right now. Actually, Davin and Archer deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Okay, so as long as I'd be able to throw my leeches at this dude forever, that'd be fine. Okay, sure, we'll play Cyclone. This is probably my out. It's just, like, maybe one of the worst possible outs that I could have. Alright, regen, and... I mean, on the other hand, at least once I'm paying 3 mana for it, which is the absolute max that I can, it will clear this dude's field. So, credit where it's due, I suppose. And I'll still have my clay statue, which will be a nice, just a crappy enough creature to win the game with, you know? Just the absolute perfect play. Yep, and now we're in the Pigma Dengar zone here. Where we can't do anything with that. Parentheses, it's just a gag on mispronouncing the word danger. And... Time Vault. Ooh. Oh, I don't know if I would be able to get stuff to actually be able to Time Vault. But let me tell you, I would love to play a Time Vault combo. I'm taking the cards. Oh, you've got a The Abyss here. Unfortunately, I'm not playing black. Otherwise, I would give that some consideration. Nor do I have enough artifact creatures to really make it work, but hey. I think I'll keep Crusade, just in case I decide to lean into that build. It probably won't happen, by the way, but it might. There's a distinct possibility of it happening. Good black amulet for any sorceries. Well, how many options would I even have in this color pairing? Jander's Saddlebags. That's a lot for that effect. Are you kidding me? No way. Now, what have you got in these colors? Can I get anything? I could get a Stone Rain, actually. Although at that point, I could probably just get Ice Storm. I don't think I can get... Pyrotechnics is an uncommon... No, Pyrotechnics is a common in... Right, I was thinking of when it was in Fate Reforged, where it absolutely made sense as an uncommon for limited purposes, because by that point they had actually kind of constructed what limited was like. So having a card that's potentially a 4-for-1 is probably a little bit nasty as a common, so... Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on that one. Mana Clash we can't do, but that's probably okay. Fireball. We can take Fireball now. Fireball wouldn't become an uncommon until it was reprinted in Darksteel, I think. I think it was Darksteel. But I digress. Desert Twister is not going to be a thing. Essence Filter. Not really worth it. Eureka. Unfortunately, I would love to be able to play this, but I don't have the right build for that, and I don't have enough currency for it either. Hurricane. Hymn of Rebirth. Well, there's... Oh, Ice Storm is an uncommon. Damn. It's fair, but damn. Birth. Regrowth. Not to be confused with each other. Stunted Growth. Target player chooses 3 cards in their hand and puts them on top of their library in any order. The fact that this is a green... Well, honestly, I think the fact that this was printed at all is kind of mean, but the fact that it's a green card is rough. God, Plow Under. That's another card that probably shouldn't have been green. Thermokarst, you are an uncommon. Damn. That's just strictly better Winter's Grasp. Yeah, a lot of the cool fun cards we would want are not available to us right now. But I'll get a Fireball. We still got some red in here. And who doesn't love a Fireball, right? What's your quest? Defeat the Priestess. That's the white girl, right? Yeah, okay. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm just physically blocked from going this way, aren't I? I thought the game was about to crash. Listen, it hasn't been seen here so much, but as I said before, Chandelar loves to crash. You encounter a Warlock, rarely guarding a horde of valuable spells. That needs some pretty big air quotes there. Valuable spells, when one of them is a fucking depletion land. And the other one is, like, really bad blue greed, but with cumulative upkeep. Whatever. Let's give this guy a swirly and take his lunch money. Metaphorically. Or perhaps literally, I don't know. I highly doubt we can do it literally, but hey. Oh, this is a commander. Oh, man. I will say this, though, that I am and have been for years just absurdly commander-pilled. So if I ever come in here with, like, a really stupid take about what cards should be considered good, it's probably that. If anybody's like, oh, well, you're completely wrong about... Yes, I probably am, but that's because I don't recognize other formats as real Magic. Parentheses, that's a joke. But also, you know, maybe at least slightly serious. Oh, he's stacking those Gangrenous zombies. He is prepping to give me a condition. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you that that's wrong because it's correct. But there is one thing that I will say about Commander is that I do think there are some times where cards that are designed for Commander, a lot of that stuff does kind of need a little bit more time in the oven. That part is kind of like, because then otherwise you get stuff like Jeweled Lotus or Nadu or Cockside Extortionist. And it is a little bit like, you truly thought that printing Black Lotus again was a good idea. Oh, you have to build around it marginally? Wow. But also, I think that saying, oh, well, they need to, you know, work more on this part of Magic, when there's also still issues, you know, with balancing in certain other stuff, because yeah, Magic being like really crustily balanced is not necessarily a new thing, and it's not to say like, oh yeah, bad balance is always, but there's a difference between bad balance parentheses it's 1994 and they barely know how to word how these cards work, and bad balance parentheses the Fire era, or bad balance parentheses we changed Nadu 5 minutes before it went to print. Or bad balance, parentheses, we just printed a Power 9, except that it has a restriction that doesn't actually matter. Or bad balance, parentheses, Lutri with the old companion rule. Although I am going to stand behind the idea of allow Lutri in the 99. As long as it's not a companion. That's like... I think that would be acceptable, personally. God, somebody is sneezing their ass off in the other room. They don't agree with me, I don't think. Or if they knew Magic, they wouldn't. But anyway. I digress. Red Wizardess sends a sorceress to attack Ammonaxis standing, or I think it was standing. Steading? Might have been steading. Whatever, that's far away. There's no way I'm gonna be able to get to that before I lose it. I didn't really go over the rules exactly of what we're doing here, by the way. That I'll pull up the like status screen here of the... Wow, we have like no data in here, do we? What the hell? That don't seem right. Oh yeah, okay, so it's just placed weirdly. And operating this is very bad. So we pull up the wizard stats here. And you see, we've got these 5 chuckleheads here. One of them for each color of magic. And these staves, each little red light and skull at their feet, indicates how many of their flunkies that we've killed. Flunkies is a good word, not used nearly enough these days. Meanwhile, they will send dudes to attack the various towns of Chandelar. Oh god, I'm losing frames. I hope it's not that. I think it's probably just Twitch gargling something profusely. So basically the goal here is to defeat all 5 of the wizards in their big castles before any of them can tap, i.e. capture 3 cities. At which point, if you do that, if any of them get 3 cities, you lose the game. But if you defeat all 5 of them, you go fight a really easy final boss that I don't even think you have to win, technically. This was a diamond mine, I think was what it referred to. This is... we can trade gems for cards, I think. We got some interesting colorless stuff. Oh, Suchi is just like... the fact that they took out Mana Burn does kind of like hilariously unbalance this thing because it's just a generic 4/4 for 4 of any color. So that's just a free include with any deck, really. But I might go look for something else first. Because, yeah, that's powerful, but also we could definitely do better than that, I think. There's got to be some fun stuff in here somewhere. Mana Flare, maybe? Oh, hey, here's Earthbind, for anyone who's never seen that before. That's enough looking at Earthbind. Oh, hey, here's a card that doesn't actually work anymore. Power Surge. It might actually kind of work if we can get the opponent to just... I don't know if they will actually pay attention to it, I guess, is what I'm saying. So what was I looking for elsewhere? Because we've got 3 crystals we can spend here, so we might be able to get some fun cards. Oh, here's Kudzu. This is... first of all, fantastic art. That's a Mark Poole art, I think. I'm pretty sure that's Mark Poole's signature on there. I'm squinting a little bit. But also, yeah, this is a card that I feel like this could do some really annoying things at a table and just make everybody kind of go, oh, why? So, you know, that's in my top 5 easily. Okay, that might be a bit of a stretch. Drop of Honey. That's an anagram for Porphyry nodes if you can't spell. Beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power. It can't be regenerated. If 2 or more are tied, you choose one of them. When there are no creatures on the battlefield, you sacrifice it. Nice piece of artwork. I think that one's Christopher Rush. Big rest in peace to Christopher Rush, obviously. He died over 10 years ago, I believe. Or maybe just about 10 years ago this year. Oh, I think Howling Mine might be a good choice, just because Howling Mine is always good. Granted, I'm also kind of over here just like, okay, yeah, let me stack my deck with a bunch of trash, but at least I have Howling Mine. You can tell I'm an idiot or something. Let's just go look for some green creatures. Because those might actually be playable. I get more Aurochs, and then my 1 could fight slightly better. Could punch a little bit more above its weight class. Birds of Paradise. We always love Birds of Paradise. Look how cute they are. Just a great little facial expression there. They're so happy. Because they know that they're never going out of style. Urnham Jin. Oh, buddy. Urnham Jin. Oh. The original combo creature. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm getting sidetracked from, like, doing something actually good here. There's a lot of just... I have so much nostalgia for this era, even if it's a lot of stuff that I missed out on. Direwolves? What the... Has banding as long as you control a planes? I've probably seen that before. I just don't remember it. Moss Monster. I love that artwork. It's... Arguably, it's kind of bad, but it's fun bad, you know? Oh, no, that's Kesa. I thought Juniper Order... that might be a different Juniper Order card, but the one that I'm thinking of is a Selesnya card. It might have been the one from Cold Snap. Hey, there's our boy, Hazazon Tamar. I don't think that's really playable in our current position, but I'm so tempted anyway to just do that and be like, yeah, can I make this work? And I think that the answer is probably going to have to be no. Hey, Grizzly Bears. They were doing pretty well in the Super Bowl. Playoffs. They got... They did not go to the Super Bowl this year, unfortunately. Not even the Pope can get them there. Lhurgoyf! There he is! Ah! Yeah! I love this. I love this fella. Look at this monstrously goofy anatomy it's got going on. Classic flavor text, too. For just being... For just insisting upon itself so much. Palladia Morse, that's a 3-color. We can't play that. People of the Woods, not really useful to us. Pick Knight. What's this? Enters the battlefield, draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Ignore one of those cards. Just ignore the name. It's not considered legal anymore for obvious reasons. Stang. Oh, he's a rare, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I remember actually kind of liking this dude because Stang is one of the very few legendary creatures from Legends who actually has, like, good stat efficiency. Bro can actually scrap a little bit. Oh, it's Newman Druid. I love this card, by the way. This is one that I picked this up for like $1 years ago when I was building a red-green control commander. And I could not believe that Itch Newman Druid was $1 and that's it. I mean, yes, okay, your opponent has to play at least 2 instant spells in a turn in order to get a benefit. And that is a little bit rough. But you definitely will go against certain decks where it will be absolutely just, like, really grossly mean. Oh, yeah, Rurik Thar stacks. I still have the cheap-ass Rurik Thar stacks build that I made in, like, 2019 or so. I still have that. That and, like, a small handful of other cards are about all I've got left of Magic stuff. Which is, again, kind of unfortunate because I'm, like, very much sitting on the fence so hard right now that it's creasing my ass, but... And I really wish, for example, that I still had my Lord Windgrace stuff, because... I mean, I will forever... Look, in particular at, like, things in Jund of being like, God, I love Windgrace. Give me that cat, man. Yeah. Jund in general is, like, a really good... I think it is kind of wild that we're getting another... We just got another Jund precon right after the Edge of Eternities one. But, I mean, in that case, we also did just get a Jeskai precon right after Tarkir Dragonstorm. What about Final Fantasy Streamer? Right after Tarkir Dragonstorm. I don't really have any like negative smoke for Final Fantasy, but I'm referring to specifically in-universe products here because UB stuff is kind of like separate in my brain. So anyway, back to this. Let's go and keep digging here. You'll accept Final Fantasy begrudgingly. I mean, yeah, me too. I definitely also, when I was younger, like, designed card ideas for, like, Final Fantasy stuff and other RPGs that I played at the time that... Because, of course, RPGs were what they were back in the 90s. A lot of that is very similar in terms of the world building and the tech level and the core inspirations. I didn't play Earthbound until I was much older, I guess is what I'm saying here. Torsten von Ursus. We can't play that, and he's Garbo. Near Deathlock. I do not remember what you... You are grossly inefficient, but you are also a flyer in those colors, which... Actually, if I wanted a flyer with something that used red, I could just get Shivan Dragon at this point, couldn't I? Or, shit, this uses cards all the way up to alliances. Were there better dragons by this point? You want to build a Black Waltz base deck? I am... Well, I don't dislike the idea, because I do like FF9 quite a bit. I think the one that I feel, like, weirdly obligated to do at some point is Seymour Flux. And not because Seymour Flux is a good card, but because I think FF10 is ultimately my favorite Final Fantasy, and nobody likes fighting that dude in FF10. Seymour Flux is kind of like the infamous that one boss from the middle of the game. You know, like, all those games have one boss somewhere towards the center of the game who's just, like, wildly out of whack power level-wise, or just makes you suddenly have to learn how to strategize. And for a lot of people, that's that. So I think that building that, at least on some level, I'm just like, I feel like I've got to. Beasts of Bogarden. So... This is an interesting card because it's a red card that is strong against both red and white decks. Or at least it gets advantages against those. Also, I'm not exactly sure what type of animal these guys are supposed to be. They're somewhere between dogs, goats, and, like, something slightly reptilian. Ball Lightning. I'd love to play Ball Lightning here, but I don't think I can really get away with that with, like, 5 red sources in the deck. Ugh. That ain't happening. Oh yeah, there is another dragon at this point. It's Nalathni Dragon, though, which... no, I just wanted to show the artwork. I'm not buying this thing. This thing sucks. It's a 4-drop 1/1 with flying, banding, and fire breathing, and it self-destructs if you use it 4 or more times in a turn. But it has a very nice piece of art by Michael Whalen, who is a very, very prolific fantasy artist. He painted a lot of fantasy novels back in the 70s and so on for the cover art, and a lot of other paintings besides. But for some reason, like, I guess I just feel kind of sad that WotC only got the one out of him, because genuinely a very, very good artist, and I am looking for more, like, actual dragons besides just that guy. I think I was wrong. I think Shivan Dragon is basically our only really decent dragon at the moment. Sure, Arian, we can't play her, unfortunately. No Bug Wizard for us. Because then I'd have to go get a bunch of swamps and stuff, and that would take a while. Tor Giant, what are you? Oh, you're just a hill giant. Blech. What was I looking at before that I was like, I think that's the play? Oh my god, I've already forgotten because I spent so long just... Oh yeah, I guess I'll pick up Stang. Let's do it. Hey, we found a snow-covered swamp. That's a little different. Grab some food. Let's put this guy in here, and I will Refrain from dumping anything for now. My deck is okay for the time being. Wait, Folk of the Pines, what do you... Oh, I thought that this had some sort of buff for being played alongside red. I'm thinking of something else. Alright, let's fight this guy. He's not forcing himself to go first for once. Usually the Undead Knights have an effect where the game will say, Undead Knight has first strike, and it will basically skip the coin flip and they just go first for free. Which is kind of mean, but... Oh, gross. Well, we're not necessarily winning this damage race anymore. Sure, Shannon Dryads isn't going to do shit for us this fight. Graveyard Order. You care about that right now? Yeah, let's play Shambling Strider. Oh, we're dead. We are so fucked. He phased out our Yeti. I guess I can play this and I can at least block one of these Chucklefucks every turn. Yeah, we got shafted there. That was rough. Well, rest in peace, Woolly Mammoths. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough Snowlands for those to actually do much anyway, so... It's a bit tragic. Oh well. Spectral Arena. Encounter a Hydra Spectre guarding a horde of valuable spells. And Velt. Let's go for it. We don't... Again, it's an encounter location like this, so it's no harm, no foul. If we lose, we don't lose anything. If we win, we get some cool stuff, like Celestial Sword and a really shit land and something else that was less shitty that I've already forgotten what it was. Wow, rude. Okay. I guess I'm basically playing nothing against this guy. Oh, well, he did eventually play a Dragon Whelp, so that's something anyway. Okay, so mark this phase to always stop. No blocks. All right, yeah, dump your mana into it. Come on. Move forward. I want it. What do you mean I can't cast Sport? Oh. I think the game was just choking a little bit, so... Yeah, we'll drop Spore Cloud, and he's playing another Dragon. Fuck. That's upsetting. I can't get through that right now. Alright, sure, we'll... Let's unmark that, because we don't really need it right now. Unfortunately, I can't kill that thing with a desert. And he's got this Rock Hydra out. Which has a lot of rules text, because this early version of the Hydra was very complicated. For each 1 damage that would be... For each 1 damage that would be dealt to it, if it has a +1/+1 counter on it, remove 1 and prevent that 1 damage. Prevent the next 1 damage, or pay 3 to grow a new head during your upkeep. God, that's a lot of words. Anyway, I'll play a Argothian Treefolk. Oh, sure, go ahead and... The game hanging like that always just kind of alarms me a little bit. I think we're just not getting the rewards here, sadly. Yeah, we just have no shot here, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I was really hoping. But, hey. Again, no real cost to us. We just... All we did was, like, waste 5 minutes of our life at most. Big whoop. Diamond mine. I can't do anything here. Ooh, an armor thrall. That's not very useful, but okay. God, where's my target? Like, they just disappeared. Ooh, Craw Giant. Dragon's Lair. You've got some stuff that I cannot read all of. Monderang Dragon. So we're gonna fight. Obviously, we're gonna fight this, but I just want to look through this stuff here. Can I? I don't dare right click. Alcor's Tomb is trash. This is another color changing card. They really didn't do a lot with color changing effects in this period for some reason. Like, they have a lot of them, but to what end? It's mostly just to, like, circumvent protection and stuff like that. This was never really a strong enough archetype to... One sec. It was never strong enough to really justify it. Rubinia Soulsinger lets you steal a creature basically permanently. Chromatic Armor, I can't read, and it's like a million words long, so that's good. And Lost Order of Yarkeld. Enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. Power and toughness are each equal to 1 plus the number of creatures the chosen player controls. So it's kind of like Keldon Warlord, but backwards. And kind of crap. But hey. Again, if we lose this fight, nothing happens to us. So let's just go for it. Who knows? We've got an actual red source, and we got a fireball in hand. There's technically every possibility that we could actually do this. Unfortunately, the guy did also just play Hippy, so we've got to kill that thing immediately. Because otherwise... Oh, you fucker. He brought it back. That's... Did you just fail to find... I clicked on the card! Ugh! I'm sorry, I need a minute. Fucking janky-ass 90s interface. God, I really need to find something... I need to find a better way to do this on... He's playing Necropotence. Maybe he'll, like, go completely apeshit and just burn his entire hand out with Necropotence. I discarded a Shambling Strider. That might... entire life, rather. Discarding Shambling Strider might have been the best thing that could have happened to us right now. Unfortunately, I am going to have to say something like that, so... Oh, Gwendolyn DeCourcy. Yeah. That artwork exists, by the way. It's alright, I'll take it over some of the things that were clearly meant to be, you know, considered hot. That existed in certain other magic... Oh, Force of Will. Wow, he's exiling a whole ass Time Walk to stop me from playing Tracker. Buddy. This guy is doing a lot of hilarious things, by the way, like... And now he's not even attacking with a Hippy. Okay. Get that thing out of here. Well... I'll give the guy a little bit of credit here. I've got plays now, so I can actually do things this turn. I'm not prepared to say that any of them are useful or even good, but I can. Boris Devil Boon. Yeah, he can summon some garbage zombies with that. I'll just take the 5. Wow, I literally only discarded lands. That is really funny. Although now I can't also play Argothian Treefolk this turn, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead anyway, so... Oh, wow, you've got a 4th Hypnotic Spectre. Wow, just rub it in, why don't you? I don't know what it is in this case, but hey. We're pretty much dead at this point anyway, so... I really wish that I still had my Fireball, but I kind of had to use it earlier in order to actually give myself a chance here, but whatever. We're toast. Oh, and he's playing Ancestral... Just rub it in, why don't you? It's a shame he can't deck himself from that, because he has too many cards in his deck. Because it would have been really funny if he had decked himself. Ah, oh, dang. Oh, well. See, now we get a fight with actual consequences, and unfortunately I'm putting up the Shambling Strider as my bet here. Which is unfortunate, because I'm pretty sure I literally only have the one, and that's my curve topper for this deck, so... I no longer have an endgame. Except maybe for, like, draw a Fireball. And right, this... aside from the fact that she loves gaining life, this particular opponent loves to cast Spirit Link on your stuff. And basically use that as kind of a, like pacifism, but worse. Worse in the sense of a stronger card, but worse for me. You know, that kind of worse. Fine, I'll play Deadly Insect and move to next phase. And she casts 2 healing salves on herself. Okay, let me just throw all of my dudes in this direction. Oh, you didn't want to block my Deadly Insect for some reason. You didn't want to lose your only good creature. How about that? Fortified area. Well, you control have get +1/+0 and have banding. Very funny. Well, whatever. We did it. It took us like a week, but we did it. Tell me about where Argonaut's Tomb is. Contains small red creatures. I'm sure I'm going to walk in there and there's going to be like a fucking Hydra or something. Because this game doesn't exactly have the best, excuse me, appropriation of what counts as a small enemy, so it can be a bit weird. We were going to Crag Hold. Right. I'm not interested in you, dude. Take my money and leave. I just want to go and hand this thing in. Word with any sorceries of our choice. Right. So our options are... there's a couple of them, alright. How's about our red stuff? What can we do that sounds fun? No Wheel of Fortune for us. We got Winds of Change as the diet Wheel of Fortune, but why would you do that? Yokel Hops, that's a... that card is basically just flip the table. I'm sorely tempted, but I'm not going to do that. I'm taking Stunted Growth instead, because that is mean. And I'm going to take this Aurochs out, because by itself, I don't think it's necessarily super good, but we will put Stunted Growth in there. So now we have a card with which we can cause some problems. Under some circumstances, anyway. Oh, I didn't attack last turn. Why didn't I attack last turn? I think I was just, like, nervous for some reason. Now, you see, that's a good cause to not attack. Fuck you. Ugh. Well, we'll play that thing as a little bit of extra damage on the side here. If we have to, like, turn everything sideways. Wall of Swords. Ew. Okay, let's do this. And yeah, use my Spore Cloud a little bit more aggressively here. Game, are you mad that I'm doing something this stupid? Ah, fucking walking ball. Of course. Okay, now game, function correctly when I do this, please. Where is my Taiga? There we go. I activate you once. And swing. Oh, no blocks assigned, so... Here, take 7. I hope you're happy with yourself. Something. Play a tracker. And pass turn. Oh, yeah. Good times. Good fireball. Take some cards that we're probably never going to use. I mean, who would play Animate Wall? What the hell? What kind of absolute sicko? Craw Giant is pretty bad also. Eater of the Dead is technically a useful card under very specific circumstances, but not so much for us. We're going to dump that. Oh yeah, Land Cap. That thing is not useful. Mesmeric Trance. Oh wow, that's worth a lot of money. Seriously? And that card's that bad? Okay. This is theoretically useful if we get the right build going for it. But usually I think Serra Aviary is kind of dog shit. Just by virtue of the fact that, as a general rule, it's a symmetrical effect, so you can kind of get really, really screwed on that one. Ooh, Nether Fiend. Guarding a lot of black cards. He's got a Mold Demon. Mold Demon, I'm pretty sure, is like just barely on curve, but you have to sack 2 swamps for it. El Hajjaj is a creature with sort of a proto-lifelink that I think is otherwise an overcosted 1/1. And Janu Ifrit is probably a little bit overcosted for something that has a maintenance cost, but otherwise these are actually decent cards. Assuming we're actually able to beat this dude, which we probably are not. But we have a perfectly playable hand here. So, let's try to make it happen, folks. Oh, hey, look, it's another card that was banned for reasons, for cultural reasons. Him to Torah. Oh, fuck you, buddy. Ah, my big creature. Well, I guess at least stunted growth is still there. So I can continue to give this guy some problems. Unfortunately, my red mana is gone. So I can't play my Goblin Hero yet. Oh, hey, Gate to Phyrexia. That is not going to be of major use for you. Unless you really want to sacrifice... does that trigger only during the upkeep? Hold up. Yeah, destroy target artifact. Only during your upkeep and only once each turn. And it doesn't even say that the creature can't be... The artifact can't be regenerated, so... Come on, block it with the Autocrat. Come on, you loser. He didn't block it with the Autocrat. Oh well. That just means that I can regenerate this. So... Big deal. Okay, now is when we're gonna really start wanting to be like, okay, don't cast spells until second main. If we're swinging with a 3/1 that regenerates. So... We got some business going on here, at least. Play that. And now he pays the upkeep. And he's not sacking his Sengar Autocrat to kill my clay statue. Come on, you wuss. Do it. Do it, nerd. Nah, whatever. It's fine. Play land leeches and script sprites. He's got nothing on the board right now, so he can't kill my clay statue. But I can move to combat and wait to consider if I cast Stunted Growth next turn or until post-combat main. Yeah. All right. Enjoy getting time walked twice, dude. I think we're in good shape right now. On account of the fact that the guy really doesn't have much to do. He can't even kill my clay statue right now. And even if he could, he kind of has a juicier target in the Grape Shot Catapult, because I can't res that. Stoner Devils again here. Alright, move to combat. Just swing in with everything. As always, really. Yay! Very easy, actually. And yeah, look at how monstrously overcosted El Hajjaj is. Like, 3 mana for that? God, I guess they really didn't know what they were doing in 1994, did they? Well, that's cool. Mold Demon, you're a 6/6 for 5. Oh god, no, it's a 6/6 for 7. Get that shit out of here. Why would I play that? Pyramids of Asketet. Which of these spells requires 1 blue and 1 colorless? Well, it's not Volcanic Eruption, it's not Island, it's not Counterspell. I believe it's Telekinesis. In fact, I could probably look it up. And it's either Telekinesis or Phantasmal Sphere, so... I'm gonna cheat, and it's not Telekinesis, it's Phantasmal Sphere. Neat. And for our efforts, we get a Underground River. An Underground River. Duel this Seer. We are giving up our Argothian Tree Folk, possibly, for this, which is not horrendous. That's mostly just kind of taking up space a little bit. Portent. Yeah, look at the top 3 of target player's library. That's interesting. Right, swing. Oh, you're just going to take the extra 1. Okay. In turn, you play a Mistfolk. Well, I guess fair enough. You do that some more. Alright, play that. Play a Grape Shot Catapult. Rude. Oh well. Whatever. Whatever. Drop a Cyclone. This should do something for us. Although we are kind of putting our backs against the wall a little bit here. With this. Do I... Yeah, let's go and find our... Let's go find our Taiga for this. With this, rather. Just to influence things a little bit. And Spore Cloud. Thank goodness she didn't have a counterspell. I would have been very sad. As we just work on blanking the field here. And game over, yeah! Except it's in our favor, so I shouldn't say that. Lot of good blue cards there. Give me the hint, because the winning that we get off of that was nothing of real value. I will, however, pick up this Twiddle, and I will pick that up. Fevered Strength, what is... You want 120 gold for that? Are you high? 75 for Sinkhole is still a good deal, though, so... Off we go. Oh, there's a fungus shaman there, or whatever it's called. Pick up the swamp. Siphon Soul, that's decent enough. Rocket launcher? That's kind of like a really shitty fireball, so I'm actually going to pass on it. As much as I was tempted. Pyramids of Asketet. What special ability does Camel have? It has banding. Yes, because it gives, like, desert protection. Ooh, yeah, that's some free money. All right. Oh, sir, I don't think you have anything that I want here, but... Yeah, I can't even pick up a Nature's Lore, so... Sell that. Oh my god, that's even more valuable this time. Undead Knight who's been menacing your village. And you'll give me some green cards. Alright. Oh, I don't like what I'm bidding there, so I'm going to actually tell that guy to go and take a hike, even though I need to fight that guy eventually. Buy some more food so that way we can actually kind of move around the map in an expedient manner. I know that the way that we're moving out here, expedient manner doesn't really seem to be the case, but trust me. Here we go. Okay, yeah, this is a much better gamble that I'm taking. And we have, like, no plays for a minute here, but... let's do this anyway. Yeah, play that wall of ice. This guy may not have enough cards in his hand, but... well, actually, if he's spending mana like that... never mind. Bro is about to get triple time walked, so... yep. Get that out of here. I'll swing in with the catapult, and I don't even care that you've got a guy with first strike. Whatever, I just blanked your entire board. Graders. Yeah, okay, I suppose technically that's a card. I know that I probably should be mocking this guy less, but also... you know, I'm not impressed, you know? I have Wall of Ice that can just sit in front of this thing and take no damage. Nature's Lore. Where is my good land? Not to be confused with my other good lands. Yeah, give me the trade. That's fine. I'm still not impressed with you, unless you've got another, like, 2-drop in there, in which case that could be slightly unfortunate. But as it stands, no big deal. Do this, and now we play the big boy. And I guess we're staying on defense for a little while, aren't we? Until we slowly maul these things. Boy, Spore Cloud would be a good draw right about now. Oh, just... get fucked, you asshole. You asshole. Mark that phase to always stop, and... go. And activate there. Now we can unmark that and go. That's fine. We are, of course, once again on defense, as we have to poke this guy in the eye very slowly with our Orcish Lumberjack. Until such time as we draw something else for him to remove. Spore Cloud, yeah, that's fun. Oh, he sacked, did he sack Graders for that? I think he sacked Graders for that, yeah. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate. I'll play Cyclone. Because... That should still permit us to do some... What are you doing, my dude? Spore Cloud. And do this. Yeah. Oh, right, because you didn't sack a creature for Black Carriage. Right, I was like, what the fuck? But I get it now. I hope that's a full card name. I really do, because I feel like one of the very few people who actually enjoys the naming convention of the for hire cards at times. I mean, that's probably not true, but also... Well, good. Now the card names can be as long as the card text. Let's take this stuff. All right, let's get something green here. As I get to go, what is actually a good green card at this point? I mean, Yapamaya Ants. There's our mediocre green ball lightning. Thelonite Monk, Thelonite Druid. Target land becomes a forest. It's so weird. Lady of the Mountain is just a vanilla creature. That's not... It's not as helpful as I'd like it to be. Hey, Thicket Basilisk. An absolute classic of a card, that is. But I don't know that that's what we're... Wood Elemental. Oh, what a dumb card Wood Elemental is. In fact, I'm not even necessarily not even necessarily certain if a creature is the thing we want the most. Do we have decent green enchantments in this period? I mean, we have Concordant Crossroads, but that definitely requires a very specific build around for it. Sylvan Library? I mean, that's a really cool card, but... I'm not sure that that's where I want to go with it, really. If nothing else, Desert Twister is always there. That's always got my back. Berserk. We can use Berserk. Berserk is really strong. That's a good way to just nuke somebody out of the game. Given a chance. Natural Selection, which got bumped up to a rare here, even though that is not the case. I'm pretty sure Natural Selection is a common. Natural Selection, though, being very much a card that absolutely should not be in green. Look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, then put them back in any order. You may have that player shuffle their library. Yeah, no, that should not be a green card by any stretch of the imagination. And yet, here we are. Affirmative. Oh. That's... Yes. Of course they do. Yeah, you know what? I'm taking Berserk. That's a spicy meatball. Can we, God, I don't think Instill Energy has ever been... We just don't draw it half of the time, so... It's, like, permanently glued to the bottom of our deck. It got one of those effects on it, because... Oh, wait, no, there's not any, like, card manipulation level effects in this game. There's no Balatro stuff going on here. Unfortunately. Well, I got something to just nail that Death Speakers with, so... Doink. I mean, okay, I'm still taking damage from all of this dude's creatures for a minute here, but... Until then, I can just slowly chip them down. And that's pretty cool. Played land leeches. Oh yeah, and suddenly you don't want to attack into me. Huh. Funny that. I mean, those are kind of useful, but game, I was gonna have the tracker beat the crap out of something. Come on. And in this case, it's going to be the unbuffed Amrokithkin, because the game decided to choose something that was strategically not the best choice. Well, he just untapped Taunos' weaponry, so it's fine. And he's activating on the Samite Healer. And it's clobbering time. And now we'll play a Goblin. Once again, the game doing a really dumb auto tap. And he is going to eat that thing. Well. Okay. Oh no, he killed my Goblin hero. Well, your board is completely clear, my guy. Oh, also... I mean, Fireball for 7, so... Who cares about the board in the first place? Actually, that Witch Hunter is actually kind of a good card for white. So I'll take it. Defeat the Cleric. Where were you a minute ago, man? Come on! Get with the program! Let's go find another guy to give a swirly to real quick. That's not a cleric. That's a priestess. That's different. Oh, what? She's playing my deck. The game just didn't notify me of that right away. Yeah, this is a thing that can happen. Again, for those of you who are not familiar with Chandelar, I've streamed a fair chunk of it before, but yes, you can get instances where you will randomly have your opponent playing your deck instead of theirs. Or you can be forced to play a random deck instead, which is very awkward at times. You know, to say the least, right? All right, let me drop Stang here. Oh, this is a good bit that you're about to... That's a fair trade, I guess. Mostly because that thing is primarily there as a distraction. from the fact that I'm a charging my laser here. Yeah, I think I need all of one more turn to be able to. That's 5, 7. Yeah. All right, we got this piece together here. By one more turn, I mean one more land, rather, because, well, turns land, so not necessarily exactly the same, and that's going to slow me down slightly. That's a pity. And let's do this. Oh, right. She can just do that. Let's kill Goblin Hero. You know what? Okay, sure. Sometimes that's just how it goes. And... boom! Give me your Time Vault hint. Hell yeah. Now where... because it is about 10 o'clock. Let's see if I can squeeze in finding one more of these dudes and then use that as like... and that'll be our last thing for the evening here. These guys can be kind of a pain in the ass, so I am admittedly a little bit nervous with this particular hand here, but... or moreover with my ante, because I am putting up one of my deserts as a bid, but I have another one to replace it with at least, so... it'll work out in the end. Oh, well, you're just being rude. But I guess we can just off that thing because of reasons. Funny how that worked out. That's... that's great. Okay, so we'll block into this. Enjoy dumping all of that mana into keeping your Keeper of the Faith alive there. Because I'm just going to erase it now. Do you feel smart, buddy? Because you shouldn't. Especially not when I just do that. Oh, well, I mean, in a case like that, if you just have someone who can rig the model up for you. That... or, well, rig is not necessarily... be careful, because that has a bit more of a specific connotation with the kind of stuff that we go into, but... anyway, I'm obviously taking Force of Will. And that, folks, is where I am going to save for the evening. And we will dig into more of this next week, probably. But for now, yeah.